Breakaway Wichita. We have 2 rows. Oh. 2 rows. Some on the ground there, and some up here. Yep. Yeah, you're good to go. Thank you, ladies. So some on the ground, some on the stage. You can put it on the ground too, right here. Yep. Yeah, leaders too. Everyone who went to Breakaway Wichita. I'm going to have to go on this side. He's too distracting to look at. So, if you're wondering what's going on tonight, in early part of March, we are going to have an access, but due to bad weather and low power and no power, I should say, we had to cancel it. So we're going to combine our coffee house, hearing about Breakaway Wichita, and then we also have our last message of our Algorithms Love series after worship on that. So we're combining everything in one tonight. So it's a very busy night. So what we want to do is kind of introduce you to our Breakaway Wichita team, okay? And we're going to show some pictures while we're going. But a couple things. Go ahead and start the pictures, if you will. A couple things. This is a team. We had about 18 students and 6 leaders, making about 24 people total. And what they did is they served throughout the whole week. So they served in various locations. They came here in the morning, served all day, had sessions, and then went home in their own bed in that. All right. So we got all kinds of different events. We had some ladies carrying railroad ties. They were so heavy. So Jen's going to go ahead and be on that side and kind of pass around the mic. Ladies, really quick, kind of share, what were you doing this day? Who was part of that?
We went to Hope Ranch, and they didn't like the railway ties that were in their lawn, so we moved those, and then we helped him trim the trees.
Nice. All right. We also went to various locations doing yard work, and we organized some books. So we have several books we were working at. Anyone know the bookstore we worked at? New Leaf. That's right, on that. So just some pictures. These two are working really hard at that moment. All right. Yeah. I don't know why they took a picture of me laying down, but everyone was on their phones. And then we had worship each night. Who wants to kind of share? Who wants to share about our sessions each night? What did we do during our sessions?
On one of the nights, we washed each other's feet.
Yeah. Okay. Facts. All right. Yes, that is true. Yeah. Anyone else who want to talk a little bit about sessions?
One night Kyle bought a whole bunch of glass jars, and we smashed them, basically. We said what we were broken or like what we were feeling, and we broke them. And then we ran out of time that night. But then the next night we took all those glass pieces and then put them back together. But they obviously weren't the same. If you want to look at them, they are out there in the activity center. But it was like us hot gluing them together, so it's showing how we're put back together, but not the same, and maybe not exactly how we want it, but we're back together.
I'm going to pass around some examples of that. It was just our way of saying that even broken people can be used by God. And so we destroyed some glasses, but then glued it back together and show how God did that. That's kind of what the sessions were all about, is how God can use us and how we want to see our city differently. We kind of did a lot of group picture shots in here. But what is this giving basics? Does anyone know what we did here? Who wants to share?
So my group was the best because we were the fastest, but that's besides the point. You're just wrong. But my group, we sorted, what was it? What did we do first? Was it wet wipes? We did baby wipes. Then we did conditioner, mostly conditioner, but we also did some body wash as well.
Daniel.
Giving the Basics was basically just an organization that takes hygiene items and makes sure that everyone has access to them so that they can feel like a clean human.
And then we kind of split up into different activities. Who can share about this?
So basically, we went to this one place. What was it called? Like Packs and Blessings. And we just loaded up Kyle's truck and went around to all the different boxes and filled them up. And actually, in this picture, I believe that's the district church. Anyway, so I go to a different church. I just go here for youth group, but we're actually friends with that church, and so it's really cool to get to be a blessing to them.
Did you want to say anything, Drew? Is Drew even up here? Oh, yes. Okay, yeah. Drew's in the picture, everyone, just so you know. That's his head in the back of it. All right.
Hey, what's cool about Packs and Blessings, though, is that a year ago for 30-Hour Famine, we painted a lot of those boxes that were put up and that you guys went and delivered to. So
Yeah, so basically there's boxes all over the city, and anyone can come, donate, or take food, especially if they're struggling. And we actually had a chance to share our testimony. This is Drew sharing his testimony. So each of them, for the first time, had to share their faith story in that. What did you guys notice, or was anything surprised or unique about sharing faith stories? Anyone want to share anything on that?
I definitely got to know those people a little better, and it definitely made me realize that these people haven't had the best life ever, and their testimony is happening now.
I thought it was really cool personally because I've heard a lot of faith stories. I went to Costa Rica and everyone shares them, and I just started crying really hard. And it wasn't even because of the stories, but I was just so blown away at how God has put all of these events in everyone's lives separately, and that He's just doing all that for each individual person. And I thought that was really cool.
I was pretty blown away about the amount of mental illness people battle, and I never pick up on it, and it's just crazy how strong some of y'all are. That's it.
That was such a good answer. I just want to point that out. You're talking about mental illness, and I just see your face, and it was such a good answer, but I had to close my eyes. Yeah. And that's the beauty of it. God can use anyone and anything, and we're not alone in our struggles. And that's one of the reasons why we kind of do those aspects. A mission trip is not just about serving. It's also about bonding and teamwork and kind of seeing how we're not alone in the world.
So I thought it was super awesome how the very first day of Breakaway, we just were sitting at the tables for half an hour, and we all just, what the heck? Drew, stop it. We all just, excuse me. We all just walked up, and no one knew anyone. And we would just, kind of stay in our separate little groups. And by the end, with this testimony sharing and all the service projects we did, it was crazy how well you got to know all the people in the group.
Yeah. There's a lot of team-building challenges as well. We worked through this organization that kind of works with refugees and kind of putting stuff together. Who wants to kind of share a little bit about that?
I think it was Esty and someone else, but they broke one of the shelves, and so we fixed it. But it was also really cool because we got to see all this stuff that was donated to these families. We got to help put it together and organize it, and just seeing how much people gave towards that was really inspiring. But yeah, they did break one of the things.
Who did?
Esty and someone else.
Me, sorry.
Yeah.
Also, we worked with a Second Blessing, which is a thrift store that our church kind of oversees, and we organize some stuff. Jake, what are you holding up in that picture?
So they were plates, but stained glass plates, and they both depicted it was either the birth of Jesus or the Final Supper. I forgot which one. But when you held them up to the light, you could see them really clearly. And other people can attest to this. I don't know who I showed. Yeah, Abby down there.
I took the picture, but I had no idea what you were doing. So yeah. So they kind of organized all that. That's a picture outside of Second Blessings. And we basically, they told us that we saved them about 2 weeks worth of work. And we did that in 2 hours. So it was really exciting to see that the workers, instead of doing work that we had to do, like organizing and taking care of, they can actually work and pray with people directly because they don't have to organize their storage areas and things like that. So it's kind of exciting. And then, oh, go ahead.
Stay on this picture for a Excuse me. Stay on this picture for a second. So, every picture we took, it was Drew's like personal goal to be the smallest portion in it while still being in it. And if you look at the sign slightly to the right, in between her head and the sign, there's this like an eye and a half, and that is Drew.
I did not even notice that. Okay.
I spent
that's awesome.
5 minutes looking at that picture on my phone to find that, and I am proud of it.
And then one of the things we did was a Nerf night with Youth Horizons. And you guys were challenged to have one spiritual conversation with a stranger that night. Does anyone want to kind of share their experience?
It's my turn again. Don't ask about the Heaven Bucks, but I don't have 120 actually. Anyway, so I talked to one of the mentors there, and I approached him talking about how I respected him for pulling all his boys aside and telling them, respect the people putting on the event, don't bully the little kids. And I went up to him and I told him thank you. And then we got into this conversation about how God puts, how he helps us figure out who is for us and how to keep the right people in your corner. And then how doing this mentorship, he really found people who helped him.
One of the things we did was we ended on Thursday night a prayer station, and it was just a time just to reflect and kind of bring the week together, and showing that just because the week is over doesn't mean the serving and seeing the city as Jesus sees it is over as well. And that's one of the reasons why we do mission trips every spring break, is we know that Christianity isn't just about collecting knowledge. It's also about living out your faith. And it's being Jesus to people who might not ever see or understand Jesus, and that serving heart. We saw two different locations. One, we saw a Buddhist temple. So we actually had a chance to tour a Buddhist temple, and we had a chance to do a Q&A with a monk there. Does anyone want to share their experience with this?
So we went to the Buddhist temple, and originally I think we were just supposed to have Andy kind of talk about Buddhism and everything. But the monk walked in, and we kind of all came back and gathered around him and had this little talk where we'd all ask him like respectful questions about his beliefs and kind of what they did there. And everything he said and all of the things that like the Buddhists seemed to believe seemed really close to what we believed without God. And they had faith in something, and they believed they could get something better and make the world a better place through what they do and the teachings that they follow. But there was no God in it. There was very little hope in that place at all.
And this thing they call enlightenment is what everyone strives to get, but you'll never know if you ever got it. So
yeah, we were interviewing him, and we were like, so enlightenment, has anyone ever gotten there? Can you ever get there? And he just said no. It's just a goal that they work for their entire lives and they cannot achieve.
So
And-
we had a chance to talk about eternal salvation and security and that whole aspect and kind of seeing what's real, what's not. We also had a chance to tour a Muslim mosque here in Wichita. And this very nice gentleman had a chance, and he shared about his faith. He shared about the connections between the Muslim faith and Christianity. And then we toured this. This is where they pray. This is where these people come on Fridays and pray to their God and all that. Who wants to share a little bit about this experience? We'll do Sarah first.
So going here was kind of like an interesting experience, I guess you could say. It was one part that was really weird to me was how they separated the men and the women, because to them, women and like young children don't have to go to church, and when they do, it's often a distraction. So they're separated from everyone. You can see there's a balcony up there. That's where the women would pray, and so that was really weird. And also, when he talked about it, at first it sounded really similar to Christianity, and it was like, hey, this is kind of like the same thing. They kind of think the same things as us. And then we get back to the church, and we debrief on it, and it wasn't. It was a lot of, it was not Christianity. A lot of it was things that were wrong, and just really kind of a twisted version, which was weird, and it has made into a lot of kind of jokes between us.
So they worshipped themselves. They believed in like God and the Holy Spirit and all of that, but like they were more focused on themselves. So
Yeah, so there's a point where the guy showing us around was talking, and I just realized like how like I don't know how best to explain this, but like I just felt bad for them, and just like this is the way they've always known or known for a while, and just felt bad for them.
Yeah, so they give us pamphlets at the end, and there were some that were like, I don't even know how to describe it, but yeah, they were awful. In one of the pamphlets, the title of the pamphlet was Women's Rights. You know this is a good one. And it described women, I kid you not, that they came from hell and their sole goal was to drag men down there with them unless men protected women from themselves.
He's actually not making that up. That's in a pamphlet that they handed out. So we had a chance to debrief and see the city differently. The reason why we went to these places is to show that not everyone is Christian in Wichita. And not everyone just doesn't believe. There are other people who believe. There's other people who've been deceived. And how do we respond? With judgment? With oh, you're going to hell? Or is it with the love and grace of Christ? And then we ended with a big family fest. So we kind of celebrated a big carnival game down on South Campus and prayed and played with games and with little kids and had a wonderful meal. And we did an escape room, and most of us made it out of our rooms in that. Yeah, and that's our team. So one final thing, does anyone have any kind of thing they want to share? Maybe why should someone else go on a mission trip next year?
So Keith over there, he has a great nickname now just because driving around doing the food boxes around the city. We got to hear a great story about his great decisions in life. His nickname is Lightbulb. Just ask him about it. That's all I can say.
Okay, at the South Campus during Family Fest, I had a stand, like a little carnival thing where you throw the football. It was really simple. But this was a moment that realization of life, and there was this little kid. He was like maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4. He loved that. He was there for 10 minutes, constantly throwing. And then his mom goes like, we got to go get food. He did not leave. He stood there. And I tried to get him to keep going. I had to walk him all the way to the food court to get him to go. And I just thought that was a surreal moment of just that little kid's mind and the joy on his face just to throw a football. And then I want to say one more thing is this group, I've not known half these people before because I'm stuck in my own group, I feel like. But I am grateful for all these people, and yeah, thank you.
Oh, wait. Okay. So you guys should all really think about going on as many mission trips as possible, every single one. Just like leave your families. Yeah, you're the churches now. But on a real note, the mission trip really helped me to understand we're more than just like a family. Like I feel like I belong here, but I actually have a purpose in here because we all have our strengths, and I constantly think that I have none, and I felt like I kind of just like dropped right in, you know. Especially with the bed building we did in the homes for the homeless and whatever. Yeah. So this dude knows how to teach people. He's really smart at reading directions. And then Jacob, he can learn really well. And then I just bend things. So
I have one word, van. Just one word.
For context, we were in a van. It was crazy. That's it. But yeah, do this because if nothing else, you'll have fun and you'll be forced into situations where you'll have to grow and at least talk to new people. And if you don't, too bad. It's gonna happen. You're gonna do weird things, but it's gonna be fun and you're gonna have a great time. Floss. Don't talk about the floss.
Got the video.
Oh, go ahead. Last one.
I just want to say that if nothing else, if serving isn't really high priority for you right now, like it really grows your perspective for sure. Like especially after the Muslim mosque, for me, that was a biggie. And I don't want to talk about it, but like knowledge about God and the Bible has become like sort of a new value for me that I didn't necessarily have at its fullest before. So it really opened my eyes.
Yeah, I just want to say how proud I am. I know I talked to the leaders. We're all very proud of this team. This is by far the team with the strongest work ethic. There was no complaining, and they had some rights to complain, and they stepped up. I mean, some of them were literally digging in manure and all that, and there was not a single complaint. So I'm really excited to see what God's going to do with you now that they kind of planted this seed, and it can grow into something, and there's some connections outside of your grades, outside of your small groups. So we're really, really excited. If you want to learn more, feel free to come up and ask them afterwards. But there's also testimony boards in Activity Center. You can see their experience because each night we added something to that board. So I'm going to go ahead and pray, and then we're going to move on. Dear wonderful Father, thank you, Lord, for this time.